Hello everybody, this is Tufail Qureshi with the AutoCAD 2013 tutorials. Today we're going to design a 33 kV pin insulator, very rough design we're going to make, and we're not going to make it accurate, just to give an idea how we can proceed about this. We know a 33 kV pin insulator, it has three insulating discs on stacked on top of each other, and then there's a top for the groove which holds the ACSR conductor. So first of all, when we open the AutoCAD, it will be in a two-dimensional mode, 2D mode. This is the 2D mode, and so we go here in the settings down below here, and we click it, and we click on 3D modeling, 3D modeling, and it soon comes into the 3D mode. This is the 3D mode, and in which we will make a three-dimensional pin insulator. First of all, what we'll do is that we will have to make a reference line. Before making a reference line, we will simply, here is the command window. Here we'll type a command for the units, that we want to select. That the UN is the command for units. We click and we enter, we get the units, and we have the different units, inches, feet, millimeters, miles. So we will keep it in inches. That would be a very reasonable way of and this is the decimal system, in degrees, angle, and length, in what system we want it, and then we click OK. Alright, so we make a reference line here. The reference line is we make a vertical reference line. You see all these crosses and projections that are coming up. It's because of the snapping that we have kept on, so it projects beforehand to where we might want to have our reference line. So we turn these off, and what we do, we make it again. Alright, there we go. So we make it again. The reference line, it should be vertical. Okay, so we have a vertical reference line. So what we do is that first of all, we make the top of the insulator on which the conductor would be binded upon. So what we'll do, we will click a square. Here we can make a square or a rectangle shape. We will make it roughly like this, up to the reference line. We'll make it approximately like this. So here, so this will become the cross section of the top. So what we'll do is that this is a single object. So what we will do is that we will revolve it around itself, so as to make a rounded disc kind of a thing. So what we will do is that we will type the revolve command. Revolve command is, when we enter, it will ask you to select the object to revolve. So what we'll do, we select this rectangle as a cross section, and then we press enter, and after pressing enter, it will ask you to give the reference axis around which this disc has to be revolved. So what we'll do is that we'll click around the axis that we have already made, like this. So it will revolve. It asks the angle like 360 degrees. We will enter 360 degrees. So this becomes a disc, a rounded disc. So in order to visualize the disc, we will go here, and here's the orbit command. We'll click it, and we will see this is in the form of a disc. Alright, so what we'll go is that we'll go back to the top and go back to where it was. So in order to make a groove, a proper groove, what we will do is that we will cut through this disc for the grooving of to make the groove on which the conductor will rest. So what we'll do, we'll make another rectangular shape like this. Half of it will be submerged, half of it would be submerged on the disc. Okay, so we will rotate it a little bit in the uh, we'll get into the orthographic view a little bit, like this. Okay, like this. Hold it like this. So what we'll do is that we will go for the extrude command. This is the extrude command. Once we click the extrude, we will click on this object, okay, and we will enter it. It will extrude outwards, it will project outwards, and then we will have another it's called the press pull. What we'll do is that we'll go and we'll select the particular face that we want to press pull, and it would be like okay, we'll just move it on the other side like this. So we'll press pull at this face. We'd like to press pull this face. Here we go. It's not getting selected right now. Okay, no, we want to select this press pull. Okay, so it goes out, projects out, and then again we select this surface, like yeah, like this surface should get selected. Okay, this surface gets selected and it goes out of this. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to subtract, in order to make the groove we have to subtract from the whole disk this portion that goes through, cuts across the disk. It's a solid disk, so in 3D. So what we'll do is that we'll type the subtract command, and we have to subtract from this disk this portion, and we will enter. Let's see again, subtract. We'll type the subtract command. We will have to select the object, and from this object we will select this object and we'll press enter, and so this groove is done, alright, on which the conductor would be resting. So we'll keep it again straight around the reference line. So now what we have to do is that we have to make the discs underneath it. So what we do is that the insulating parts we have to make underneath it. What we will do is that we'll select the straight line. Okay, it will be somewhat like around this, depending upon the design, and then it will go a little downwards. Here we select the arc. Arc is here because it's shaping downwards, it's arcing. So what, it's an arc actually. So what we'll do is select a point here, then the next point we select here, and then it will be a downward arc. Alright, this is a downward arc. And then what we do is that we will have to make those grooves underneath those insulators. The grooves underneath those insulators for increasing the creepage distance. What we do is that we have a command called the spline command. Spline. Okay, so it makes curvy surfaces. So we click here, and then we click here, and then we click here, and you can see the curved surfaces are forming depending upon how you want them to be. We're just making a rough and approximate. Here we go. Okay, we end it here. So what we do is that we have to join these by a straight line, by straight lines actually. So what we do is that we will we'll make a straight line, because inside of this insulator there is hollow for the pin to hold. For the pin to go inside, we have to keep it hollow. Okay, so we go like this and we enter. So we keep the snappings on in order to join this line with the top of this line. Okay, so this will join the top of this line, and we have to trim these lines in order to get a proper. So we type the trim command and we double enter it, and then we'll see this will go, these are joined, and we'll go further up, we'll cut this, and we also have to extend this curve. Okay, we'll escape and we'll just click on the curve and then go like this, like slightly here. Okay, so we click enter and then we trim both. We trim this all, double click, and there we go. Okay, now what we have to do is that we have to make it a single block in order it to be able to revolve around a single axis. What we'll do, we'll select it, all of them are selected, and then we type a command called the join command. The join command will join all these two-dimensional into one figure. So this is a single figure and we have to revolve it around in order to make it into a disk form. So what we'll do, again, the revolve command, revolve, okay, enter. So it will ask you for to select the object that needs to be revolved. So we'll select this disk and we will enter again, and then it will ask you to make to select the axis around which it has to be revolved. Remember, this is the cross section, so we will select the same axis around which we made the disk earlier. Okay, so the same axis is selected, and then you will enter the angle, how much you want to revolve it. We want to revolve it full 360 degrees, so this would make the disk. So this is your first part of the disk, and you will see, after we delete the reference line, you will see how wonderfully it has evolved. It's in the 2D wireframe view. We'll click it and then we will go into the realistic view. So this will be an approximate disk that will be formed, as you can see. So this is an approximate basic tutorial to make a 33 kV disk insulator, and then we can stack 3 disks on each other in order to make a 33 kV or of different voltage levels. It's not necessarily 33 kV, but of different voltage levels we can make pin insulating devices, pin insulator devices. Go in a continuous orbit, and that will give you a fairly good idea about the making of this.